Lucky's laying there cooling off in the shade on the concrete. And there's little Buddy. My two sweet fur babies. I'm going out here to cut some mums. But anyway, I thought I would show you. My rock gardens used to be full of mums, purple mums, until we started having the water restrictions. And I couldn't water much anymore. And a lot of them died because of no water. But I still do have some out here. And what I'm going to do is try to root a few of them. Now, let's see. I wanted to show you over here. And see, they're wilted down right now. They need water desperately. They desperately need water. And I can't tell what I'm showing you when I'm looking at the camera that way. Well, I pulled that one up. I didn't mean to. Well, that'll be 2 cuttings right there that I can root. There's another one. There's one. And here's one. If you get them right here where these little joints are, that's kind of where they root. Didn't want to cut every one of those. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh. Yeah, my hair's down in my face. And we got one right here hanging over the I don't know if I can I'm showing you this. This right here. I'm not going to cut all of it. I'm just going to cut one section right there. See, as long as you get some of these joints that you can get under the dirt, that's where the roots come out at. Let's turn this around. Maybe I can show you better here. And see how big these are? They're in the shade more so than the ones out here. But see how I cut it? So you have the joints that you can get under the dirt. See, I'll be able to get these two joints under the dirt. And it'll probably even put roots out here at this one. This third one up here. But they're getting ready to bloom. I was hoping it was going to rain because they desperately need water. I may have enough already. See how I cut that one? So you have several joints here. And that's where that's where they root, at the joints. Lazy Lucky. Trying to stay cool. And there comes a little buddy. Sweet fur babies. Sweet fur babies. Yeah. Sweet fur babies. Did you think I brought treats, huh? Did you think I brought treats out here? Is that what it is? You thought I brought treats? It's hot. It's already like 93 degrees out here and it's only about noon. Sweet fur babies. Sweet fur babies. Now, I wanted to show you, I'm going to show you how to pot up those mum cuttings that I did. You know, before I showed you how you could put leaves in the bottom of your container. This is an old coffee filter. Yeah, and it's got coffee grounds in it, but you know what? Plants love coffee grounds. You can put that right down there in the bottom, and that will stop any of your dirt from going through. I'll go ahead and put a coffee filter in these 2 buckets, or 2 pots. And I'm leaving there's a little bit of coffee grounds in there and it's not going to hurt anything. Because like I said, it acts as plant food to your plants. Now this is dirt that I mixed up the other day when I was planting my strawberries. It's just a mixture of compost, cocoa coir, native dirt, and a little bit of potting mix and perlite, and that's it. And what I am going to do, I got eggshells I just crumbled up. I got another coffee filter that I'm going to use in another pot, so I'll leave that right there. But I've got eggshells and coffee grounds right here. I'm just going to put a little bit of dirt in there, and I'm going to add my coffee grounds and a little bit of eggshell, not much, and then continue adding my dirt. Now, the dirt that I had in these, I had to dump out in a hole over there because there was a lot of wild seed in there that was growing, and that's what prevented my peppers and everything else from growing. So there was so many seed in there from the wildflower mix that I didn't want that in my dirt. So I started all new with my dirt. I'm going to add just another little bit of this. Continue on with my potting mix that I mixed up myself. Now you can root these like this and just leave them in the pot and let them grow, or you can root them like this if you're water restricted like I am, because if I put them out in my rock garden right now, they're not going to root because I can't keep the ground moist enough. You got to keep the ground moist for mums to root. That's why I'm putting them in a pot this time. Now, if it was a rainy season, I'd go ahead and stick them in the ground, no problem. But right now, and if you live in an area where the ground stays pretty much damp to where you don't have to water a whole lot, you can just put your mums in the ground and they'll root wherever you want to plant them. But like I said, you know, it's extremely dry here right now. So I'm going to put mine in pots, because I've lost a lot of my mums the last couple of years, and my lilies and rose bushes due to this drought we've had. Okay, I'm going to put a few more eggshells and coffee grounds. Now, if you have any like fertilizer, you know, anything like that on hand, feel free to mix it in. It's not going to hurt. I just don't need fertilizer in here to root them. It'll help them grow really pretty, but I think I'll have enough with the cocoa coir, the little bit of potting mix, the compost, and my little bit of coffee grounds that are here, that I won't need to add a whole lot of other stuff. So that's what I'm doing. Now you can get peat moss as well and mix it in with your dirt. I do that too sometimes. I either get peat moss or cocoa coir, either one. Now I've got a whole bucket of cuttings. What did I do with what did I do with my bucket of cuttings here? Oh, I got them back here. Little buddy's gardening for me. These are all the cuttings that I got out of the garden, the first of the video. And remember, I told you, cut your cuttings where you got the little limbs on the bottom, because when you stick them in the dirt, that's usually where the roots will form, is right where the little limbs come out. So you want to make sure you get a couple of those, at least one, in the ground. And it doesn't matter how deep you bury them, they like it deep. So I planted it up past that third one. And here's another one. I'm going to plant it in the dirt, probably, whoops. I'm probably going to plant it up to here. Right up to this node right there. Now these are purple mums. I found that these purple ones are more hardy than the colored ones. These come back every year. Now the other ones will come back every year too, but I found that these are the more hardy ones. Now, and you know, that's all you do. I'll just put these aside and water them in a minute. I got this other coffee ground, coffee filter. No, this is a paper towel. You can use a paper towel in the bottom. Or if you don't have paper towels, you don't want to use paper towels, you don't want to use your coffee filters, just use leaves. Leaves are almost the best to use, because they will break down and become your garden soil. I guarantee you, by the time you empty the pot, like next season, you won't see any leaves in the bottom. They'll all be broke down and it'll be all garden soil. It'll all be garden soil. I think I might have enough of this to fill 3. I've got plenty more in the greenhouse. I just have to get it out. And there I'm going to put some of these coffee grounds in there. Add more of this mixture of cocoa coir, perlite, compost out of my compost bin, and a little bit of garden soil. You know, I found the combination of all of that, really you don't need a lot of fertilizer. Ooh, I got that one a little bit full, didn't I? I want to leave about 1 inch or so at the top. Yeah, by the time that's watered in, it's going to go down. Oh, I wanted to put the rest of my my coffee grounds in there. Y'all, I don't throw my coffee grounds away. If I either throw them in my compost pile, my compost bin, or I'll come out here and put them in one of my pots where I got plants, vegetables growing. Now here's another cutting for the mums. Now usually, no, that's two cuttings right here. But see, this is the type of cutting you want. You don't want just a straight stick. You want to break off one of the limbs that's got several little forks where the limbs come out, just like that. And you want at least 2, if not 3. I'll probably plant it all the way up to this 3rd one. That'll guarantee that, you know, I'll get roots somewhere down here. Let's make a hole right in the center. Yep, it's going to go right down to the 3rd one. I'm going to put the soil around it real good. And all you got to do now is keep them watered good. Well, I thought I had a couple more of them, but I'm going to show you. All I'm going to do now is just water them a little bit. And then I've got more cuttings here that I'm going to plant. Right there in the bucket, I've got several more in there. Well, see if I can. I'm tangled up in grass. Let me get a little bit of compost tea. I just dip my watering can right in my compost tea bin. See, because I cut the end of it with a bigger hole. So if there's any debris that's not completely broke down in the compost water, then it doesn't clog up the little spout. And I'm just going to water these down good. And like my strawberries, I've got my strawberries, let's see. I moved my strawberries over here, my strawberry plants, and they're kind of wilted down now, but they'll pop right back up. They were getting too much sun on the other side. So I moved them over here. So they'll get a little bit of sun, but they're not going to be in the direct hot sun during the day. They'll get a little bit of shade, which they need. And I'm just going to keep my pots moist. And, you know, there's me okra, y'all. I've been picking okra out here. Yeah, I've been walking by my okra plants and picking okra as I'm doing this other. But there you go. I got 3 pots. And I've got several more pots to do. I already had that dirt mixed up, so what I'm going to have to do now is go over there and mix up more of my dirt. And I'll show you that I've got it out here. I put it in that bird feed seed bag. I put it in there because I had it already mixed up. What I'm going to do now is mix my perlite And I think I'll just drop it in this bag. Woo. I've got potting mix. Well, if I can keep the bag from turning over. Y'all, I needed my mask. And now I'm going to put some of this cocoa coir down in there. Whew. Let me turn this around. There. And I'm just gonna like mix it up in the bag. That way I don't have to grease so much of it. I will go out here and get me a little bit more compost. Whew. I needed my bandana on, y'all. Needed my bandana on. I'm sweating like crazy. Let's see. Now I went over there whew, and got the compost, and I'm going to dump that right in that bag, because that is basically your plant food and your fertilizer. And I found this is a real easy way to mix it up. Now I can pour some back in that bucket. Whew. And since I don't have another coffee filter, and I didn't bring any paper towels, I got leaves. I'm just going to put a layer of leaves down in there, just enough to block those holes. Or not block them, they cover them. And it allows for water drainage, but you're not going to lose your soil through those holes. You can even put a round piece of cardboard in the bottom. The cardboard will eventually break down. And still, you know, the water will manage to go underneath the cardboard in the bottom and drain out anyway. And it does turn to soil as well. Now, get me another one of these. And you can put more than one in a pot. Sometimes I put a whole handful. Let's see how many more pots I got. I don't want to use all my big pots for this. I'll put 2 in here. You know, just make sure you get at least 2 of those nubs covered in the dirt. And you keep your soil damp. And I would put them in partial shade or a shady area until they root, because mums don't like the scalding hot sun. I found that out. Even the ones on the property line out there, they get shade most of the afternoon, late evening. They get a little bit of the hot sun in the afternoon, but it's mostly shade in the afternoon. So there's one. I got 4 there now. Working on another one. Like I said, I'm going to put leaves down in there. Whew. And I save all my buckets like this, or my, not buckets, planters that where I ever buy anything. You know, that was the pot that $5 rose bush came in. And I'm being very wasteful with this. I don't mean to be. Now, if you've got, like your strawberries, if you don't have big pots, but maybe you got the smaller seedling trays that are kind of deep, you can put your strawberries in soil in those to root them. You know, your little runners, because they're not very big. I really didn't have to put them in the big pots that I put them in, but that's basically all I've got right now. And I use what I got. This one's already rooted. You know what? I'm going to break the top of it off. So that's going to be 3 in here. Because you can separate them, usually, when you go to transplant them, or you may not want to separate them when you go to transplant them. You might want to just leave them together. I got my air-conditioned blouse on today. That's what I call it. Any blouse that is floppy and loose, I say it's my air-conditioned blouse, because it allows the air to get up under there and help keep you cool. So there's another one. And let's see. I've got 2 more here. Let me run over here right quick. Well, I already got this mixed up. Let me get some more compost. Well, I've already got it in there. I don't need to put more in there. I'm getting hot, y'all, so I'm not I'm not thinking real good. But you know what? Instead of having so many pots, because sometimes all of your cuttings will not root. So for just security purposes, I'm going to go ahead and stick an extra one in. I'm tangled up in grass. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and stick an extra one right in there. And I'm going to find another one. Maybe this one. And like I said, make sure it's deep. It don't matter even if you go all the way to the bottom of the pot with it. And like I said, water them in good. I'm putting compost tea on them. You know, that's going to be plant food and fertilizer right there. And I'm going to find a place in the partial shade for these too. Probably over there somewhere in the vicinity where my strawberries are. Oh, I got to get these gloves off. Let me wash my hands off a little bit. I got dirt all over them. I don't want to get dirt on the camera. Whew. Look at that. Little buddy hanging out while I'm putting my mums in pots. But I've got 5 pots of mums that are going to be rooting. And there's 2 and 3 cuttings in each pot. So, and they will root. I mean, and they'll start growing real good as long as you keep them watered. You don't let them dry out. I mean, that's how come I lost my mums in my rock garden, most of them, and my lilies, is because I haven't been able to keep them watered good. But, you know, with this drought we've got going on. But I'm hoping the drought will be up pretty soon. I mean, we've had this drought for 3 years, and I've been suffering and carrying water from my compost bins, my tea bins, compost tea bins, whatever you want to call them. 32-gallon ones. I got about 9 or so around the yard that's holding compost tea that I do watering one time a week, and then the other time I'm able to water with the city water. But you know, when it reaches 108 degrees, even 100 degrees for several days, watering twice a week doesn't help. I don't care how good your dirt is, plants need water. It doesn't matter how much fertilizer, how good your dirt is. If they don't get water, they're going to die. So water is like gold to plants. They need dirt, they need plant food, they need all the nutrients and all that other stuff. But the number one thing that they need after you put them in a pot or you plant them in the ground is water. Ain't that right, little buddy? I don't know where Lucky is right now. He's probably at the other side of the... Oh, there he is. Look. Oh, my goodness. He's stretched out on the rock walk beside the house. Oh, my goodness. My fur babies are so comical. Let's get a close-up of Lucky back there if I can get it. Look at that. Look at that. He said, I don't care what you're doing. I'm hanging out. I hear you talking. And there's little buddy. He's covered in wood chips and little soft stickers where he's been running through the grass. I gotta brush him. I'm trying to move the camera slow because I've got it enlarged. He was yawning just a second ago, and by the time I could get the camera up there, he's quit. There he goes. Lucky, you're silly. You're silly. You're silly. He hears me. You're silly. You're a silly kitty. And little Buddy's a silly kitty too. They're both sweethearts. They do need brushing bad though. But anyway, y'all, if you got mums, let me get this back to normal so I don't make you dizzy. If you got mums growing in your yard, don't be afraid to try rooting them. Like I said, these purple ones are the best ones to root, and they last a lot better than the other ones. But now if you can get them in the shade, the other ones work great. The yellow ones, the white ones, like the burnt orange color, because I got a couple of plants of those in along the property line, you know, in those green planters. I lost 2 of the mums over the winter, but I've got 3 or 4 that came back, and you know, they're getting ready to bloom. So there you go. I just thought I'd show you how to triple your mums. Don't buy them if you've already got some planted. Just root you some more. And it doesn't take long for them to root. Okay, y'all have a blessed day. I'll see you on the next one. Love y'all. Bye now.